Okay.
We don't have to do them within games.
I'm gonna talk briefly why I decided to teach this. First of all, lots of people.
Because it's cool.
No, everyone loves to attack. Everyone loves to pawn storm. Everyone loves to do something.
I hate pawn storm.
I love
But oftentimes,
Me too. I
I
hate
have
them.
created
Yeah.
most of my
but
team.
what's important is not only like pawn storming, you also have to think, right? Because if you're just pushing pawns, you need to find, well, why are we pushing pawns to begin with?
To break his pawn structure.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very open, and then you can just kill him.
It's an easy victory.
So one thing that's important to note is that not all games are like you're able to like attack. Some games like your opponent's just gonna like have a really solid structure and it's just not really gonna be as fun as you want it to be. Now other times it's different. Like today we're gonna talk about how to attack the king, and we're gonna focus specifically on like the tactical side, so like sacrifices.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Are you going to show us some brilliant moves today?
I will be showing some brilliant.
Yeah. Are you going to show us a brilliant move game?
I will think about it.
Please.
And that
I'm
depends.
sorry. Then.
That depends on if you guys are not screaming or yelling or anything, okay?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
if you get too loud, I'll just decide no showing, okay?
Too loud.
Can I go to the back room?
Yes, you
so I
can.
won't
All right. How do we attack a castle king? So when we remember our lead in development kind of class, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Decide to a castle opposite side and then push pawns.
Okay, that could work, but sometimes you can't. Opposite side castling is fun to play, but it doesn't work all the time, and it doesn't work especially if your opponent's already starting to push on the queen side. So if you're just castling into like something like the Sicilian, where oftentimes they play h6 and they have an open c file, like castling queen side is main line, but you have to be careful because if you're pushing on their side, they can also push on your side as well. So it's just about who's faster, right? So if you like that kind of like attacking kind of game, you can play that type of main line against Sicilian. I can show you later. Yeah.
Oh, I love
Always
this
when I pawn storm, the guy just keeps defending, and then I open his king, cause when he moves all his pieces like his bishop, and then I trap his bishop, and then I break his pawn structure, and then he dies.
Good job.
Okay, great.
Oh,
Yeah, Brayden?
If pawn storm doesn't work, I just make the person take my pawn on like the file your king is castled on, so I can put a rook on that file.
Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting idea, right? So Brayden's talking about sacrificing a pawn to get an open file, right?
Yeah.
So attacking the king, open files are actually very important, right? Because if we have an open file right on the king, we can just bring our rooks, our queens in, and just shoot a battering ram at it, right? So if you remember from I think the second lesson, we talked about opening advantages, and we specifically talked about lead in development. So if you have a lead in development, what should we do?
Open up the center.
Open up the center. Yeah, good job, right? So that works really well against like an uncastled king. But what if the enemy king is castled, right?
If he has a fianchetto bishop, just make a battery and kill his.
Yeah. Okay. We can try and get rid of that, fianchetto bishop if they have one, right?
But Henry.
When we talked about how do we attack a castled king 2 lessons ago, we just said pawn storm.
Henry.
Yeah.
But sometimes getting rid of the fianchetto bishop isn't correct because in the tournament, me and Bosa played, he got rid of my fianchetto bishop, and I reviewed that game, and it was actually a blunder.
Well, I did see that game. I think the reason why was just because there was a miscalculation. You could have won a pawn. But in general, most of the times, where you have to also take a look at the position itself, right? I don't think ever there's going to be moves that are just always going to be good, right? So you can't like play a fried liver if you're blundering your queen next move. So you have to still think, right? Even moves that are obvious, you still have to think, right? But let's just focus on baseline. Today we're going to focus on improving our attacking abilities, our attacking skills, right? By training our ability to spot sacrifices, to open the enemy king and deliver checkmate, right? So far, all we have seen are like sacrifices that are like mate in 2, mate in 3. You know that, yeah, you're giving up a knight, but you're going to win anyways, right? But oftentimes the brilliancies or the best sacrifices are like when you don't know that you're going to give checkmate. You just think that it gives you a good position, good enough to checkmate in a couple.
Wait, today we will focus on improving our attacking skills by training our ability to stop sacrifices to open the enemy king and deliver checkmate.
Everybody loves winning.
Yeah, everyone loves
Being
winning a
like
game
crushing.
by, crushing your opponent with a cool piece sacrifice, right?
Almost
If you like
always a
sacrifice your
brilliancy.
queen, that's fun. That's
I
a game you're gonna
sacrificed
go
my
with your
queen.
friends and talk about it, right?
I sacrificed my queen and it was an inaccuracy.
Mm-hmm.
It was accidentally.
I sacrificed the queen, but it was still in.
So, how can we learn to spot these types of opportunities? Let's take the first look. This is a very simple one. White is down, okay. White is down a pawn.
Queen takes h7.
Rook takes
Rook
G7.
takes that pawn.
Yeah, rook takes that
off.
pawn.
Rook
Alright.
takes
Rook
G7.
takes off.
So, one thing is we are down a pawn,
I
but
thought
we do
that-
have like a semi-open
At the
file.
worst may, if you take and then you move the rook, so king is forced to move there, and you check diagonally with the queen checkmate.
Okay, does everyone agree with Brayden here?
I didn't understand anything. he said.
Okay, well
You
let's take a
stack
look
the
at what
rook
it is, right?
to open up his
So,
position.
white's down a pawn, but in return he gets a
Rook
semi-open
takes
file
G7 check.
on
Yeah.
the g-file, right?
That's
So
what-
let's take a look. Let's see if white can do anything.
Yeah!
No, you're gonna see a lot of brilliancies, so you're probably gonna get tired of them by the end. But
Hey.
personally, I wouldn't give this a brilliancy. But first, let's just get you guys excited. So rook takes g7. I mean, if black goes king h8, then queen takes h7 is played. So black's only option. to take the rook.
Rook
And then
black.
Then we bring our rook in. We bring another rook in. Rook g1 check, right? Black only has one move. It's just king
Queen
h8,
red.
and then we have queen f6 for checkmate.
That's what I said.
Right. So yeah, that was a forced mate. That was a checkmate in 3, and that all started because we were able to spot, or Brayden was able to spot, rook takes g7. Right. This move really opens up the position. The idea is we want to bring our rook on d1. Can you guys see the screen?
Yeah. But the coffee is blocking the rook.
All right. We can bring the rook on d1 into the game somehow in a quicker way, in a forcing way. So rook takes g7.
Yeah.
Our electricity.
There you go. The electricity here is funny, but I think it's back. Okay.
Next one.
All right. So here's some basic ideas, right? When it comes to attacking the king, 3 rules generally apply. 1, we want to gain access. What does that mean? We want to get like some way of attacking the king. So like in the previous example, we played rook takes g7. We opened the king up, right? Through a sacrifice. So that's what it means. What it means by gaining access. If the king is just like, protected by their little pawn shield, then it's very hard for us to like directly attack the king. So that's kind of one thing that we have to consider.
Henry,
Yes?
if they put all their pieces on their king and defend it like with all their pieces, but you start attacking, is this like a draw or like you probably will win?
It's not really a draw, it's just over solid. I would say that can happen for sure. But
then you
in
trust
that,
me.
for me, if I see my opponent just like really putting a lot of pieces, one is that they can become really passive, right? So I think you should still start attacking anyways, but I don't think you can have the expectation you're going to crush the opponent. The best attacks happen when all the opponent's pieces are doing something else. If they're all just defending the king, they're not really doing anything else. So you can focus on other sides of the board and try and win material there.
Okay.
And try to promote.
2, we want to bring in pieces, right? Preferably by giving check, right? So as we saw there, after rook takes g7, we brought our rook on d1 in on the d-file to give check, right? And then the last one, we give checkmate. That's pretty obvious, right? We're going to talk about breaking through the position and like breaking the pawn.
Breaking
shield.
a brick wall.
Yeah. Let's think. We can say that FGH, these 3 pawns over here, right, on the top of the king.
Are weak pawns.
They're not really weak pawns, but they serve as like the shield, you know?
And they're targets.
Like imagine the king is just living in a house. He's sitting there, he's sitting on a couch, drinking coffee. You know, he's got a wall. The wall is protecting him from the other people. And all of a sudden, bang, a bomb explodes right in front of the wall. And now he's exposed, right? This is kind of what it is. We gotta break this wall if we want to try and get close to the king, right? Okay, so think of it like that. So the first thing we should try and think about is opening up the king, right? So let's take a look at this puzzle. What can we play?
Rook H1.
Knight F6 check.
For all of you that said Rook H1,
Knight F6 check.
I mean,
Check and take.
Rook
then
H1?
can Rook H1 be played?
Oh, yeah.
How?
Knight
Where's the
F6
follow-up?
check. Knight F6
Where's the
check.
follow-up?
Knight F6 check.
Knight F6.
I mean, if the king was up one, then there'd be a follow-up, but I don't see any.
There is a follow.
Yeah,
You gotta go
so,
through your king.
so see, right? If our king was on G2, it's pretty straightforward, right? We have this Rook H1 in store, and then, you know, we can easily start attacking here, right? So that's easy to spot. But we don't have that luxury. We have to play King G2 and like somehow like within our attack in order to get that rook in. So it's good that you spot that. Let's take a look at what it is. Okay, first things first, we have to break the pawn shield somehow. Right? Yeah, we can't take the pawn, but what do you think we can play?
Knight F6 check.
Knight F6 check, yeah.
Knight F6 check.
We can play Knight F6 check. Okay, I'm not going to give this a brilliancy yet.
Can I get some water?
Yes, you can.
But where's the
Knight F6 check, right? So after Knight F6 check, if the king goes to H8, what do we play?
Rook?
We move the queen up. No, diagonal.
Yeah, we go Queen H5, and that's mate, right? So over here, it's pretty obvious. Black will just take the free knight. But in turn,
Queen G4 check.
yeah. So now in turn, what happens is that Black, by creating this double pawn, this F7 pawn here can't
so
move
weak.
anymore. It can't move, right?
Yeah.
Like in this position, if we just played something like King G2 and prepared Rook H1 and Queen H5, first of all, it's very slow, and second of all, Black can easily just run away with F6, King F7, and they can just run. They're gonna run like here or something, right?
That's illegal.
But by playing Knight F6, we prevent Black from running, and we push him to the H file.
Now
Once
King
we've done this,
G2.
now we play King G2, and we can bring the Rook.
Isn't this
H1
that
for check.
Magnus Carlsen game? I
Um,
feel like I've seen this.
well, it's a common idea.
It's like Magnus Carlsen uncastles his king to check.
Okay, so that is Rook H1, and that will be checkmate. So just playing Knight F6 on the first move, spotting the potential to, you know, start an attack on the king, and that's very, very important. Okay, what about this one? White's a play.
Bishop takes
Bishop takes.
G7. Yeah.
Bishop takes G7. King takes G7.
Agreed.
And then Queen.
Rock in
Rook
front
G.
of that pawn, checking the king.
Rook G3.
Rook G3.
And then king
Queen-
moves to the
Queen F-
corner
Queen
and you
F-
check
Queen F6.
Rook
What?
G3.
Queen F6.
Rock, after you take the king takes, you move rook in front of your own
Queen
king on that
F6.
file, checking
Yeah.
the king moves diagonal, and you checkmate with the queen.
It's Queen F6.
Like the first one,
Rook G3.
except
Okay,
sacrificing with
okay.
bishop.
Who raise your hand if you want to play Bishop takes G7,
Maybe.
and raise your hand if you want to play Queen F6.
No.
Maybe.
Mason's the only one that wants to sacrifice his queen.
Actually, yes, let's do Queen.
Yeah, Queen F6.
Queen
But then the
F6
pawn takes
also
the
works.
queen.
Then you go.
And then
Rook
you
H-
go
it's
check,
Rook
and then
G3 check. It's Queen
You
F6.
play queen f6, they take, you check with the rook, king moves to the side,
And
and
Bishop
you
takes F6.
take the pawn.
I
Okay.
knew it was Queen
Now,
F6.
okay.
There's
Queen
also
F6.
different name.
This is a exciting move because it's kind of like a flashy way of winning. Right now we're threatening this. The only way for black to defend is to take.
Rook G3 check.
Oh,
Now,
so
instead of
flashy.
taking the pawn, we're going to play the check first.
Do it again.
Check.
And then bishop takes F6.
There's also a different mate. Is
Well,
there?
let's take a look, right?
Yeah, there's
So-
also a different way.
Evaluation white is winning, but there's only one move to win
Huh?
after bishop. Because keep in mind, right? I think the best way to take a look at it, it's probably easier to figure out which one's better if you've been playing this game as white for the last 20 moves. But black's have a rook. So after bishop takes g7, I mean, black doesn't have to take the bishop. Black can just be like, okay, whatever. You win the rook, I'll just take you. I'm still a piece, right? They don't really mind losing any material because they're already up a rook. So over here, if we play something like rook g3, then they'll probably just play queen takes bishop anyways. They're like whatever, and then you don't win, and you're also down material as well. So this one's a pretty tough one, right? But if we're able, like, let's say you're in a game. Let's say you're in a game and you're just like
Chilling?
You're chilling. You've got about 20 minutes left, and your opponent's like down to 1 minute, and you've got time to spend. You're just thinking there. You see bishop g7. You're like, yeah, that works. But then you see queen f6, right? Now I would recommend, right, spending some time thinking about queen f6, and then realize that okay, queen f6 is more forcing, right? There's literally, I don't have to calculate anything. After queen f6, we know that black can only play g takes f6.
So flashy.
Otherwise, white will just win, right? Whereas with bishop takes g7, instead,
And a blunder too.
well, black has a lot of options.
Yeah, that's a blunder.
We win if we play king takes bishop, right? But
It's a
they don't
miss,
have to
it's a
play king
miss.
takes bishop. They can play
It's
f6.
probably a miss.
They can play
make it a
f5,
miss.
stuff like that.
Yeah, make it a miss.
Make it a miss. I don't even know how to do that one here.
Fine, just make it a blunder now.
There you go.
Yay.
I think that's how you do it. I don't actually know how to play this. Okay, but bishop takes
I don't
g7.
know how to play
Awesome.
chess.
Okay, let's move on.
Oh.
What time is it?
It is
Leave
time.
me down.
Be there.
Why?
Is it time to play games?
It's only been 37 minutes. So
That's
no.
Only.
That's a lot.
Can we?
Usually we have 1 hour lessons and then 1 hour game time. Although in the past I've always done 15-minute lessons and 1 hour 10-minute game time, right? But it usually depends on how much you guys cooperate, right? The more we can get through this, the faster we can play, right? So let's take a look. So learning to attack is a 3-step process.
Exploiting is cheating.
So I don't think this is a 3-step process. Think about these 3 ideas, right? For the remainder of the lesson, okay? Let's take a look
Exploit
at this.
is cheating.
Exactly.
Well, exploits in like video games is okay. Exploiting, okay, the definition of exploiting is just taking advantage of like a weakness. Like a weakness, an issue.
No, but I saw a video. This guy was exploiting. He shoot through walls. He could turn invisible.
Well, I
That's
think
not hack.
this is
Yeah.
that's a different. This is chess.
It's still
Queen takes
exploiting.
f6.
Okay, so
No, you punch the
Wait,
pawn. You punch the pawn up.
so this one I knew this one would trip you. The answer to this one is pretty interesting.
Imagine if it's
With the pawn.
Imagine if it's queen
Punch the
g7
pawn
check.
up.
Wait, is it g4?
Punch the metal pawn up.
Wait,
Wait,
Henry, where's
oh.
the king?
water
The king
right
on the
corner.
corner.
Your coffee's so big.
Okay, then I'll just move like
How dare
The
you?
other coffee.
That's not coffee.
Okay.
That's just water. But okay. Alright, so first things first, good for you to recognize that f6 is hanging. So if white plays queen takes f6, white would be up a pawn.
Then we start pushing up h4.
No. I
But-
say punch G pawn.
g4 is also okay. We're starting a pawn storm.
And h4.
But here is the move that you guys probably didn't think about.
I'm thinking about that.
Really, did
No,
you?
you
He
did
did it. He did.
I didn't.
Oh, that is smart. Oh,
Who
I
can
did
ex-
that.
who can-
I thought it was a blunder, so I
Who
didn't.
can explain the idea behind this move?
I
So
thought
it takes. You just.
Wait,
Right.
the pawn takes and you take with the pawn to open up the files for May.
And rook G1.
Yeah, and then mate into.
Yeah, so after rook f4 takes, the g pawn is now open, right? We can use that g pawn, we can bring our rook on b1
Ow.
to g1. We can start a direct attack on the king, right? So after the takes,
What if he moves up? What if he moves somewhere else?
okay, if he doesn't take, that's okay. Because now, by playing rook f4, we play a rook lift, right? We're trying to get our rook into the game. We can just play rook g4,
It's a cheese and
right? So we're threatening both rook g4 and to open up the g file, right? So yeah, so that's gonna be rook g1. So that's how we can exploit like a hole, like an open file in.
I'm gonna take emotional probably. This one's sus.
How about this one? Eliminating the defender.
knight
Eliminate
B7 check.
Bishop takes,
And then rook A8 check.
king b7.
And then the queen goes to A7 check. Actually, never mind, not check. I'm done.
Then it goes to king c6.
Yeah.
Now,
Knight A6 check.
Yeah.
then king takes rook. Whoops.
He revealed it. It's
Oh,
rook B.
smarter man.
It's rook B7.
It's gonna be rook b7.
I knew it.
What's the idea?
No, you did it.
I did
No,
actually.
you didn't.
Mother man.
Yeah, we play knight d7 for checkmate, right? So the idea is, a lot of us will think about, let's say, sacrificing a knight because the knight's lower material and there's knight d7 check. That's very obvious. And then we think bishop takes, rook a8, then queen a7, and then we'll realize, hey, this isn't checkmate. We could win the rook on c8, but maybe black's gonna get perpetual, right? So we have to find something forcing. So we're gonna play rook to b7 check, and then knight to d7. So we eliminate that bishop on c6. We lure it away from defending.
Look, he doesn't take
Wait,
Not a.
wait, can you move, wait, wait, can you just go start off, like, knight d7,
Yeah, but after knight d7, bishop takes.
and then rook moves
Mamma
up, and
mia.
then king moves.
King d7.
Never mind, you had an escape route.
Yeah. Right. So it takes time to figure out the moves.
That's like a weird. This is a weird position.
Queen takes.
Queen takes.
No,
But no, we need to calculate deeper.
Bishop H6.
We
Bishop
need to
A6.
calculate deeper.
Bishop A6.
Calculate deeper.
Bishop h6. Okay, that's a weird one. Why not queen h7?
Cause it's not checkmate,
And he can escape.
and he has counterplay, which is I have no idea.
Okay, so one thing we have to recognize is after queen takes h7, black can go king f8, right? Yeah? So Mason's idea of playing bishop h6 makes a bit of sense, right? So I like bishop h6. We prevent the king from running away.
Yay.
If we prevent the king from running away,
What if we go king h8?
well, we play queen h7.
Oh,
that's it.
yeah.
Oh,
So black's probably best move is to play bishop g7
Bruh.
to block, to try and run away. But then we can play queen takes h7 check.
and
Okay,
mate in 200.
the king goes to f8. What should we play?
Queen
Queen
A8.
up, queen up.
Queen
Yeah,
A8.
queen
I
takes
knew it.
I knew it.
If we play like queen takes g7 check, right, we'd still have to play a game because black's gonna run with king e8. But if we play queen h8, the game ends there. It's these types of tiny moves that will help you win games both quicker and more easily, right?
And cooler.
You don't want to play a game on chess.com and you have like 8 minutes left in this position, right? And you spend, 1 second and you play queen takes g7 check. Because then after the 1 second you spend, you have to spend another 5 minutes trying to win a position like this. Whereas if you spend maybe 5 minutes here, maybe not even 5 minutes, just 1 minute, just to think about how to checkmate, you'll see queen h8. Look how fast you guys were saying queen h8, right? So it's all about thinking, right? We don't want to miss these opportunities and have to play longer games.
What time is it?
Not over yet, okay? We're almost there. So, the last one we're going to take a look at is creating a hole.
That's actually kind of weird.
So, one thing that we've seen in
Rook
this
takes a7 check.
king takes, right?
Oh.
Oh.
King takes. But it's a good idea. That could be
checkmate.
that could be a way we can try and
Rook A8 checkmate.
Bishop takes a8.
A8. The rook in the way.
It's not illegal, I guess, because the rook is.
So the idea is we're going to bring a rook lift, right?
Rook takes b7.
Oh no, rook B6.
Up.
Wait, what?
No!
I
Rook
thought
up,
you were
yeah.
a genius.
We're gonna play rook 4.
I thought we
Now,
were a genius.
does rook b6 work?
No, because the other pawn said no.
Oh.
I thought the pawn was backwards.
I mean, this one's an interesting one. After rook b6.
Is that a brilliancy?
It's rook b6.
No, because after
No.
rook b6, I believe what's possible is that
And
black
you
can just play
take the-
bishop d7.
Bishop b7?
d7.
He
And then
can
take,
eat his own rook?
no, bishop d7, right?
Oh.
So, this is what after we have broken through the pawn shield, we have to think about getting our rooks in. Because usually when the pawn shield is broken, they'll get like either open files or double pawns. And then we can double up on a file, we can bring rooks in, rook lifting, right? So that's the plan, yeah, Harvey? Yes. Right? So over
Henry.
here after rook b4, we
Henry.
can play rook b4.
Henry. Can I go
Yes?
to the washroom after?
Yes, of course.
Henry,
Yes?
are you gonna show us a brilliant game?
Can I have
Well,
one?
we'll have to think about that, okay? Rook a4, and then we're going to threaten a checkmate on a7, okay? Let's take a look. Oh, I guess it just ends there, but black can't stop this.
Oedipus.
Last one.
Knight g3.
Oh, I mean last idea.
Knight G3, Jack G3. Check.
Yeah, this was pretty straightforward. Knight g3 check, and then
It's
rook
not a brilliancy.
That's a pretty easy one, right? Rook f6.
It has to be.
Wait, you can stop it, right?
No.
Rookie 2.
Yeah, rookie two.
Rook f2, then bishop takes rook, right?
And then
Rook G6.
What?
rook.
Rook G3.
I don't know what you guys are doing, but I'm not really care.
Examples.
Well, okay, let's.
We saw it.
Brilliant. It involves the queen, guys.
Okay.
There's only 2 pieces here, so.
Check. Up.
Queen takes
Queen
h7.
H.
Queen H7.
Queen H6.
Queen takes
No,
H6.
no,
Queen takes H7.
no, don't take. Don't
Queen
take.
H6.
No, there's no may after that. There's no follow-up move.
Queen h6.
No.
Queen H6. Queen
Hey, guys.
H6.
Yes.
Guys, stop. So, here. Everyone loves to sacrifice, they're gonna see this. But does this work? That's our question.
No, it does not.
No.
No, wait, go back, go back.
And then we
If the
don't see
pawn
it, we
was
don't
a
have it.
bishop at
Queen
one.
H6. Queen. Yeah. Why did I
First of
really
all, we play queen h6 to threaten
Rook
queen g7.
g8.
If you protect, then you move rock.
Queen takes h7 check.
And then
Okay,
now
that
we
works.
play queen takes h7, okay?
That works. It's still mid too.
So then king takes, and then rook h2, and that's gonna give checkmate, okay?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, right? That's kind of how we can approach sacrifices. You know, we all love to queen sack, right?
Yo, this
But I
feels so
guarantee
nice.
you, Mason, right? We don't want to just blunder our pieces away because we think it works. We have to make sure it works, especially if we're, sacrificing a queen. Right? We have to really make sure it works. Okay. Here's the second example.
Oh yeah. There's another brilliant.
What about this one?
Queen takes.
Open up.
Queen takes g7 check.
Queen F6.
Pop
I mean,
up.
F6.
Pop
No,
the
yeah,
pawn.
f6.
Yeah.
F6.
Now, if we do the Mason queen takes the pawn and hope it works, right? We give a check, and then where's the follow-up?
Mason.
There's
I
no
didn't do
follow-up,
that.
right? So then,
Touch the pawn.
That's it.
Crush that.
Yeah.
Finally.
that's it. G6 is the only move for black to stop, losing. Then what do we play here?
Queen takes. Queen H4.
Queen move.
Queen H4.
Move queen.
Queen H4.
Oh yeah, same thing. Okay, Queen
Queen H4 is
G5.
the same thing.
Yeah, they're the
No,
same
Queen
thing.
H4 and then
Queen G5, and then we're threatening Queen H6.
Queen
Queen G5.
H8. Queen H6.
And now what?
Queen takes H7.
Then you stack your queen.
See, so that's kind of how we can use the same strategy, same idea that we saw in the first example with this kind of idea of playing Queen H6 and then taking H7, right? So if you see that in your games, you can recognize that pattern, okay?
Right.
Oh, let's take a break.
Where's our game showcase?